They are investigating whether the stabbing stemmed from Sanchez turning down a prom invite. We just got the first update from Lieutenant Paul Vance with the state police, who tells us right now the public are really going to be their eyes and ears here. I got my tickets right here. I went through, checked out the numbers, got some numbers that have been lucky for me in the past. So hopefully one of these guys will help me out here later this afternoon. And of course, that's all for that $425 million. And this is the door in which people are able to get into the dome from. This is another example of just how powerful this storm was. A devastating morning for the folks that lived inside this home. Their belongings are all gone.
What is the buzz like among the students this morning?
Well, good morning. This is something that has only happened once in college basketball history. Those who live on the shore here know just how destructive these storms can be. You can see how the snow is piling up along the side of the road here. This is what cars are going to be dealing with. The only thing we've seen around besides some students straggling to class are a few empty bottles and trash. And the report is the end to the state police's investigation into the tragedy. Investigators will be able to get a closer look at the two men thanks to that surveillance video. Erica and Logan, a man is dead this morning. Another one being treated in the hospital still from injuries from this fire, and the investigation now starts as to what caused it. You're taking a live look here at that 6th floor apartment unit at the University Towers. This is where the fire chief says the fire started, and that is the unit that the dead man lived inside. Now, this is a large apartment building, and the folks that live here say that they're thankful for that because it really helped when it was time to get out as quick as possible this morning. This 6th floor apartment unit is where fire officials say the flames started. It's destroyed, and the man that was inside is dead. The alarms went off around 4 o'clock, and the hundreds of tenants scrambled.
We went down the stairwell, and from the 14th floor, you could smell some sort of smoke. And so you were kind of rushing down the stairwell.
Easier for some tenants than others. A mixture of graduate students and elderly folks live inside.
I opened the door to see if people were moving about and smelled the smoke and then hustled.
John Wilkinson got out wearing a robe and carrying only his keys.
Once I got out and walked around the back, I realized there was a significant fire.
He helped a blind woman get down 12 flights of stairs and then checked for others.
We roamed around the front and back, making sure that the people we knew were present. It was a community functioning as a community should when there's a challenge.
And the community here at University Towers says their neighbor's death is a tragedy.
He was a very sweet, very nice man, and the people who knew him well are certainly suffering from it.
And as they grieve, they are grateful they'll be able to do it together. Now, fire officials and the state fire marshal here on the scene investigating what caused this fire. And I want to add another thing. 2 firefighters were also injured this morning when they were saving all the people that live inside this building. One of them being treated right now with chest pains and the other with a foot injury. So a large effort here from the New Haven Fire Department, as well as the folks that live inside, to make sure everyone was out safely. That's the latest. For now, we're live in New Haven. Angelica Spanos, Fox, Connecticut. Wrapped and ready to go. The last assault rifles and assault rifle receivers at Stag Arms went out the door this morning.
We have a few gun shops coming by to get the last few guns that they think they can get through by 12 o'clock before the deadline comes.
The guns and receivers onto trucks and headed to different gun retailers. Next stop, Delta Arsenal.
I called this morning, hey, can you help us out? And they said, come down and get whatever you need.
They needed AR receivers and got about 300 of them, some people wanting to buy 10 or more apiece. Owner Douglas Ishidu knew he was confident he could sell them before 12. And if you don't believe him, look at the line. The receivers can be built onto guns, adding a high-capacity magazine, allowing it to fire multiple rounds.
What we do is we build rifles from the receiver. It's like the frame of a car, and then you build up from there.
With less than an hour until Governor Malloy was set to sign the law, people packed the store, many filling out paperwork cleared to buy new guns. And this was the case at other gun stores in the state. Arlene Schwartz was inside Hoffman's. She saw guns going left and right.
The employee took it and held it up in the air, and he said, "All right, who wants it?" And they started shouting numbers at him because everybody wanted. 10 seconds, the gun was gone.
After the bill was signed, the sense of urgency for some to get a hold of a gun or magazine will be gone. But what repercussions the bill will have, Schwartz says, have not even started yet.
I don't think it's going to change anything. Nothing at all. They can legislate from now until the cows come home. It's not going to change a thing. You can't legislate crazy. And the guy who shot that school up was nuts.
In Newington, Angelica Spanos, Fox, Connecticut. Good morning, Erica and Logan. Picture this. You're a woman all alone, and suddenly you need to defend yourself from an attacker. What would you do? That's an answer many women don't have. Women becoming victims is happening way too often, but one self-defense class can change that, and I went to it to find out how. An unassuming and tranquil facade from the street, but once you step inside,
back leg, good.
You can't help but become defensive.
Yeah, good, pull me down, pull me down.
Over 70% will never tell a soul, and we want to let them know that they're not alone, that it's not their fault, and that there is help.
You hold them tight, don't hold them out here, because they get away.
The Escape Alive class equips women with defense techniques, and it's taught by those who are reminded of the chilling pain of sexual assault every day.
I was approached, someone said hello to me, I said hi to them, never even giving it a second thought, and without even thinking twice, he actually came back around and was able to put a bag over my head and a knife to my back, which allowed him to bring me to the secondary location because I froze, which is the absolute worst thing you can do.
Tracy was 12 years old when she was raped in Waterbury after being taken in broad daylight.
Good. Squeeze your forearms.
Years later, she's a trained fighter and takes that power to make sure others don't become victims.
You have to be responsible. You have to be the first person responsible for your safety. Nope, drive that out hard, real hard. Nope.
She teaches women how to fight back. She says it's therapy for her as a survivor.
1, 2. Yeah.
I myself wouldn't have a clue what to do if I was attacked, so I jumped in and learned the moves. A palm, an elbow, and a knee. 3 basic moves strung together make a mean combo. After 4 hours of this, you're prepared for a lot. Danielle Serrano is the vice president at East Coast Training Systems. She's seen women from 13 to 87 years old take the class.
They change in those 4 hours. It's hard to describe, but it's very empowering for them. The other thing, too, is we have a lot of times victims that never came out, that never told anyone they were victims. By the end of the class, they would approach Tracy or myself or one of the instructors and they'd say, "I was a victim. How can I get help?"
Her husband is this guy, the one getting beat up in a padded suit. The last test, if you will, is having him come after you, making them think and react on the spot. And those taking the class, like Lisa Mignon, say that's the hardest part.
You get into this class and you realize how mental it is, how you don't freeze.
Violence can strike anyone and anywhere. And for women like Tracy, there's usually no warning.
You have to be able to adapt to what you do have. You have one bad hand, you have one good hand. You have one bad knee, you have one good knee.
And you may only have one shot to get it right when you need it most. The Escape Alive classes are offered free of charge thanks to the partnership with Connecticut's Jane Doe No More program. Each month, women can register for the 4-hour class offered at many different locations statewide. For information on all that and how to find the classes, check out foxct.com. Erica, Logan.